Peace family, Contra Queen here. And it's been a little minute since I went live. It's been a little minute since I've even showed my face on my platform. As you guys know, I've been in hiatus mode. And as I told you guys, I recently did a video with Black Magic 363 saying that I'm coming out of my hermit cave. And you guys already know it's Cancer season. So whenever me as a Cancer, like I go into these periods of modes of like healing, restoration, and I think most spiritual people go through this. Has anybody else been feeling like this need to kind of isolate, to recharge, to study, to ground, to find your foundation? I feel like so many times, like and I'm something's hitting my spirit right now. I have a message. It's starting to really click to me that when you step into the spiritual journey, like your whole entire structural lifestyle, like it changes. And the more that you elevate, the more that you grow, the more that you start to embrace and accept your gifts, you got to start also realizing that you cannot live a normal life like average people. And by average, I don't mean like average in a derogatory way. I don't mean Spinks, so be making all of that noise while I'm live. I know you like attention, but stop it. I don't mean like when you tapping into like I'm not trying to shame anybody who's average or normal, but let's be real for a moment, right? Just for argument's sake, let's say it's 20% of the population of the entire world on earth that has psychic abilities or spiritual powers, or who have things that allow them to see beyond the normal spectrum of light, right? Like whether you can feel things, hear things, but you're tapped in and you know that you have a higher purpose. Like you've been born just kind of knowing like, yo, I'm supposed to do great things here. I don't know how, why, who, what, when, where, or when it's going to happen. But you know it, you feel it in your body and your soul. And I feel like, you know, no matter how old you get, no matter how many books you read, you never know anything. And I'm realizing like, yo, I really don't know shit. Like the more books I study, like as I've been in this hermit mode, like, and I'm telling anybody that's watching this, understand me, okay? Because I feel like even though I've been on this spiritual journey for a while, don't ever, ever, ever get caught up in ego, because spirit will quickly humble you, okay? It's been mad shit going on in the world. Like, I feel like they know that a lot of us are waking up to our power. A lot of people's gifts have been turning on. A lot of strange creatures have been revealing themselves, right? A lot of strange things have been going on in the skies. And some of them real, some of them distractions, some things going on in the waters. That's why they've been drawing your attention to the waters, because there's something that's subconsciously happening right now to the collective. That's why they've been talking about those submarines. That's why they've been talking about all of that. Like the universe is shifting our mind to say, what is going to be revealed from the subconscious mind that is about to emerge into the consciousness? Some big secret is about to be revealed to the people. And people are going to start seeing that. And if I sound a little raspy, guys, it's because New York City air quality has been so bad. I don't know if you guys heard the weather, but like it's been messing with my allergies. So that's another reason why I haven't been making videos. And I feel like I got a cough right now. But I've been taking my elixirs. I've been taking my, like, everything that I need. But understand that I'm also realizing that when you start eating more healthy, more cleaner, you start spending more time in nature, you start to become even more sensitive, right? Like, I thought that if I take my elixirs, I take my vitamins, and I'm eating healthy, eating clean, that, you know, you don't get sick. You don't get affected by stuff like this, right? That's what I thought. But the truth of the matter is, I feel as though the body is so intelligent that it learns to adapt to toxins in the body. I just had this conversation with my homeboy. I was like, yo, do you know that, isn't it interesting that human beings, right, like we're conditioned to ingest the milk from another mammal, but every other mammal that produces milk, it feeds its baby of the same species, right? Humans drink from cows or goats or all this other stuff. Spinks is agreeing, see? But my thing is this. When we feed a baby cow milk or poisons, right, like the baby vomits, right? When I was a kid and my grandmother used to own her own daycare center, so I used to watch like how children are being taken care of, how to change a diaper, how to feed a baby. Like I learned all of this at a young age. And so I used to always wonder, like, why do babies always throw up so much? Like, what's wrong with them? Are they sick? And then it was taught to me, like, oh no, babies, they tend to vomit a lot. Like, they vomit the milk. Like, that's normal when you burp them. But then as I got older, I did research and found out that no, it's not normal for a baby to consistently vomit like that. It's the baby's body rejecting the poison. But when you keep forcing the baby to drink poison, the baby's body internalizes and says, hey, you know what? My parents are going to continue to keep feeding this to me, so we have to learn to adapt to this toxin, right, to survive. So then the body learns to adapt to toxins at such a young age. And then living in America here, everything is poisonous that we eat. We're not really educated on how to eat healthy like that. This information is just now starting to come to the forefront with people. Like, we got the internet now, right? We got these podcasts, we got all of this information, all of these resources now. And I feel like now that we live in an age of information, ignorance is a choice. It is a choice. So I bring that up to say this, that when you become more healthy, understand that you will be more sensitive energetically to things. And I think that a lot of spiritual people, and this is hitting my spirit too, a lot of spiritual people tend to eat more or become addicted easily because when you're so sensitive, like, your immune system, your nervous system is overstimulated where you need something to ground you. So you start to eat heavy foods, right? Like, they tell you whenever you need to ground, like, to eat like dark meats, or eat like vegetables that grow from the ground, like potatoes or carrots, like grounding stuff, heavy stuff. And when you're elevating, you become more lighter. You might have vertigo, you might get dizzy, you might have all of these different symptoms, sometimes pregnancy symptoms, like I talked about in one of my other videos. And all of this is really saying is that you need to ground yourself. And as spiritualists, as psychics, as hypersensitive beings, a lot of us never really was taught how to handle these symptoms, right? Like, we tend to just kind of go away, or we get moody and we don't want to talk to nobody because people overstimulate us. Like, I don't know about you guys, right? But ever since I was a kid, like, I never really liked crowds. Like, I never really liked all of that, like, talking to mad kids and going into all these crowded places. I never liked it. My mother thought I was strange, right? She was like, my child doesn't like to socialize and stuff like that. Was wrong. But my thing is, kids used to get on my goddamn nerve. And y'all know as adults, like, kids are annoying as hell. Kids are mean, okay? And kids are very mischievous. And I didn't want to be dealing with those badass kids anyway, because I was from the projects and those kids was bad, okay? I'm talking about bad. So I'm like, I don't want to be around those kids. I don't, even now to this day, like, I love children, but, like, human beings are annoying and they're draining. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, if 20% of the population are sensitive, right? Oh, here I go sweating again. It's hot out here in New York. If 20% of the population is, let's say, hypersensitive, psychic people, and the rest, the 80% is just regular, normal. Like, they're not able to sense everything that we sense. Imagine this, right? Imagine one person walks into a room and they look around the room and they notice, like, I don't know, let's say 10 to 20 things. This is the normal person. Like, this is what the nervous system, the average person can look and see. Okay, like, the walls are white. There's a few chairs here. There's a couple of people in the room. Like, they can kind of sense and get a general idea of, like, the physicality of things. The second person walks into a room and they notice, let's say, 20 to 50 things in the room, right? They notice, like, the mood of the room. They notice people's energies, people that standoffish. They know who to talk to, who to stay away from. Like, they're a little bit intuitive, but I would just say they still on the normal spectrum, right? Of what people can pick up as a energetic stimuli. Then the third person comes in and they can sense like 50 to 100 things that everybody else can't. Like, they can pick up on emotions. They can pick up on the energy of an argument that happened like a couple of days ago in the room. They can even pick up on energy that's about to embark. So let's say if somebody in the room is going through a death, a breakup, a loss, getting fired from their job, that third person that walks in, they pick up on all of that in that split second, that quick. Now imagine having to go through your entire life, having to be exposed to all these different stimuli, and nobody ever teaching you that, you know what, you are able to tap into another spectrum that majority of the population cannot. There's no schools, there's no doctors, there's no resources that was given to us to teach us how to deal with these gifts. And so what we learned how to do was to shut them down, to act like they wasn't there, to to reject the sense of ourselves. Because when we reject our gifts, we're rejecting who we are, because God or Spirit gave us this gift for a reason. It is a gift, and not everybody has it on purpose. Not everybody's able to handle this. And I feel as though God chose you, or Spirit chose us, people who have this gift, because we're supposed to, whatever you want to do with it is your business. Some people do evil things with it. Some people do great things with it. Some people do nothing with it. It's your choice. We have free will. But understand too, and I realize this with a lot of spiritual people, okay, that this gift is normally passed down through the bloodline. It's passed down through our ancestors. It's passed down like from your mama, your daddy, your grandma. Like, it's passed down. So let's say if somebody in your family who has this gift didn't do their job, that responsibility is going to be passed down to you. So if you had a responsibility to be like the what's the word I'm looking for, the advocator, right, for the ambassador, the advocator for your bloodline. If your mama or grandma didn't do it, or your auntie didn't do it, they're gonna be like, all right, who's the next one in line who can do this for us? Oh, him or her. They're gonna do it. So they appoint you since you're young, probably even before you was conceived, when you was still a stardust, okay, before you came into this physical incarnation as a human body. Somebody said it's 111. Oh, it's 111 people in here. Synchronicity. I miss you guys so much, and I don't want you guys thinking I don't love you when I disappear. The CQ has to disappear sometimes to recharge, because I just felt like Spirit was like, listen, you got to go away for a little while and study. And I've been reading mad books, studying, reading mad stuff, learning from different teachers. Like, a lot's been going on. But we're in summer now. It's July. And a lot of things are about to change, and I feel like a lot more spiritual people are going to come forward. Some spiritual teachers that disappeared are going to make an appearance. Get ready for that, okay? Because now even the elders are kind of being called to come out of their hermit cave, to come out and speak to the people, to reveal things that have been hidden from the public for many years. You're going to see like monks and people coming down from their mountains, people that, elders that don't even have access to this technology today. Like, they probably don't do internet, they don't do social media, but they're going to start coming out and they're going to start talking to people, because they feel like now is the time where the information has to be revealed. It's been talked about for centuries in many ancient books, and I've been reading, and I'm going to have to put y'all on. I'm going to put y'all onto a website, actually, and I talked about this before. It's a really good website called sacredtext.com, and they have books out of print from like back to like the 1400s. Okay, 1400s, 1600s, like old books. But I will say this, understand that those books written back in the day are going to be a bit challenging for those people who have issues with concentrating, okay? This is why I always tell you guys to take like your nootropics, your elixirs, to get your mind sharp, right? Because social media, all these distractions, they dull our senses. They dull our psychic abilities. And that's why a lot of psychic people tend to binge social media. They tend to be addicted to weed, to alcohol, to sex, to overeating, overconsumption, because it's an addiction to dopamine. That feeling of wanting to, of happiness, of joy, of pleasure, of that reward, right? Because when you're spiritual and you're always going through all these different stimuli, it can cause depression. So the first thing that you run to is a quick fix. Dopamine. Now, I know that this may trigger some people, because I had to go within myself to do this more shadow work. Shadow work never ends. More shadow work, more layers, more evolutions. And I even feel like, you guys, I went through another spiritual awakening recently. Another one. Like, I've been through many, and you will go through many. You will go through many spiritual awakenings. You will go through many initiations, and Spirit will guide you. The elders are going to come forward, and they're going to start revealing things to us that we need to know right now, okay? And as I was saying, those olden books, they use big words. They like, people back in the day were very intelligent, because realized they wasn't distracted by all of the stuff that we have now, right? For those of y'all that's in my generation, like born in the 90s, millennials, like, you know that we had access to, like, we know what it was like before cell phones and social media, and we also know what it's like with it. So we're literally like the last generation of that kind that knew what life was like when we was outside and playing, right? Like when we used to read a lot of books, when we used to actually like know how to have conversations with people face to face, because we wasn't stuck in our phones. a dying breed. And I feel as though some of us have a responsibility to also teach this new generation, or whoever's open to receiving, that there's more to life than just likes and follows and subscribers. And I say this as a social influencer. And you know, a lot of people right now, the kids nowadays, like back in the day, kids used to want to be a doctor, a firefighter, policeman. They wanted to be all of this stuff, right? Now kids want to just be influencers. But I'm going to explain this to you, okay? Why do you want to be an influencer? What do you want to influence, right? Like, are you just doing this for fame? Because if you just want fame, I got a ritual for you that can make you famous easy. I got a ritual that can make you rich easy. But will that really make you happy? Right? Like, if I was able to tell you, like, yo, I can give you something that's going to make you rich and famous, but then I bet you, you'll come back to me soon and be like, this is not what I thought it was. Because I feel like Jim Carrey even said it. If it was possible to make everybody rich and famous, people will realize that's not the answer. Everybody thinks that's what's going to be the key, right? And I get it. We do live in a capitalistic society that makes us think that money is everything. Like, people will do crazy things for money. People will sell their own kids for money, right? Crazy. But these are the times that we're in. But Spirit's been telling me money as we know it is going to change. The economy as we know it is going to change. So for those people that's just money hungry and stuck on money, you're going to get your feelings hurt, because things are about to change very soon. Now is a time where your currency really needs to be like your spiritual, like, what are you pouring into yourself? What are you depositing into your spiritual bank account, right? Because you can't withdraw anything if there's nothing there. And I think a lot of people nowadays, like, they want that instant gratification. Instantly. Like, I want it now. I burn a candle today, I want it today. Like, you know, like, I want what I want right now. And that's that quick fix of social media, that dopamine chase. Again, like, we have to go through these dopamine detoxes. We got to have these serious conversations with each other. And we got to be real. And I feel like these podcasts and stuff are now starting to have these conversations. People complain about it, but I'm happy we having these conversations, because how else will we know how people feel unless they start talking? Let people talk and listen and observe. And I feel like we're going through a massive healing. Like, everybody that I've been talking to have been going through these crazy ass, like, ascension symptoms. And forgive me, y'all, I'm sweating right now because my allergies. Remember, I said I'm not feeling well, but I wanted to do a video because I feel like it's been so long, and you guys been asking about me, like, how am I doing and stuff like that. But I've been doing great, actually. I have been so at peace. So at peace. And remember, I kept telling you guys, like, yo, I was supposed to be living in a whole nother country right now, but here I am in New York, and there's a reason for that. Remember, I kept saying, like, Spirit kept telling me to stay put, that there's a reason I need to be here. Well, let me just say that since I had came back to New York, I have been having to step into a certain level of responsibility for people around me, my friends and family. Spirit is like, you need to be here right now, because there's things that you need to do. There's a responsibility that you have to take care of, and only you can do it. And sometimes, you guys already know, sometimes, if you think about any story, right? Jesus, Moses, if you look at religious stories, or even Disney stories, whatever. Like, when you look at the hero, a lot of the times, let's say, like, the supernatural genie would come, right? Or some deity would be like, okay, look, you are the chosen one, and we need you to do this. And then the person is like, me? I'm nobody. Why do you want me? Right? Like, why do you want me? What's his name that had the dreams? Was it Joseph that had the dreams? And he was like, God, why are you giving me this mission? I'm nobody. Like, I'm a poor farmer's child. Like, why are you giving me this? Right? And I'd be like, Spirit, why y'all choose me? I'm just some black girl from the hood, like, in Brooklyn. Me? Why? Like, y'all sure y'all got the right person? And, like, yes, we have the right person. Like, you got somebody else in mind? So you've been chosen for a reason, right? Like, a lot of the times, how we appear in the physical is not who we really are in the spiritual. And that's why I respect everybody that I meet, because the homeless man on the street can be a king in the spiritual realm, right? And then the most richest, powerful person in this physical world can be the most lowly, grotesque looking thing that you can ever see in the spiritual realm. I've seen it. So Respect people, respect yourself, and realize that you're fucking powerful. Don't be out here letting people that don't have no spiritual powers tell you that you need to dim your shine so that they can be on equal playing ground with you. God's spirit gave you the cheat codes to this reality so that way you can hack into this shit and do what you gotta do. And I want to drop this gem before I go, because I want you guys to understand something that I recently got a download yesterday. And it said to me, it says, did you know, Spirit said, did you know that there's a difference between an alchemist and a mage? I'm like, what do you mean? I thought that mages did alchemy. Isn't alchemy magic? And Spirit said, no. He said, yes, but no. He was like, let me explain something. He says the difference between an alchemist and a mage. He says alchemists are people who are able to tap into like natural energy. They can take plants, herbs, minerals, things from the nature elements, right? The natural elements, and they can create changes with them. This will be considered hoodoo or root work or stuff like that, right? And he says, but they can only manipulate or bend the forces of nature. Then he says mages come from an ancient bloodline, and it's not that many left. He says these are people who are able to talk to conscious beings, higher celestial beings, all beings from different planes of existence, fairies, demons, gods, angels, jinn. He says, and they have the ability to make these entities work for them. So it's not them doing the magic, but it's them petitioning these deities to do the magic for them. He says now mages, they can break the natural laws. So I thought that was very interesting. Very interesting. And I think that I actually want to dig deeper into that and do a video on that. And if you guys are interested in that, then let me know below. Drop it in the comments, because I found that very interesting. What about you guys? Learning the difference about alchemy and mages, and figuring out if you're a mage or if you're an alchemist. And it's nothing wrong with either one, right? Because it's really just utilizing the tools. But like he says, mages come from a certain bloodline. Anybody can perform root work, right? Like with training and learning about the elements in the plant kingdom, mineral kingdom, like you can learn it. But he was saying with mages, right? Like it's not really something that anybody can learn. It's either you got the power to summon entities or you don't. Like, that's it. Some people may make deals with people, or deals like we hear about these artists and stuff making deals with the devil to become famous, but they wouldn't necessarily be considered mages, right? And I'm not advocating selling your soul. I don't even think you can't even sell your soul technically. That's a whole nother conversation. But they petition these entities for fame and fortune, right? But things never go right for them. There's a reason for that, right? Because they tap into energy that they have no business tapping into, because they're not mages. When you're a mage, you're able to do things that other people cannot do. You're able to move things with your mind. The mages are the ones that we hear about in like Africa and the West Indies and the Caribbean, that people be changing into animals and shit, right? Turning people into goats. Now, if you guys are from the South, or you Black, or you Caribbean, or you Hispanic, whatever, y'all probably know what I'm talking about, because everybody heard a story about somebody who knows somebody who turned into a goat or turned into a chicken, or somebody did some type of roots on somebody and fucked them up real bad, right? I even heard one story of this guy from Grenada told me like his mother saw a person get turned into a rat, and that man stayed as a rat. He was like a rat with a man's face. I believe it. I've seen some crazy shit in my day, y'all. And when you tap into the spiritual world, you will see things that other people never will see. And people will try to convince you you're crazy, but you're not. You gotta just trust what you see. Trust the spirit made you see it. But I've talked enough. My throat is dry. I'm about to go take some of my teas and probably go get my lashes done, because it's my birthday week. I'm a Cancer, and you know I'm turning up. So I feel like selling Mercury with my freaking nails. You feel me? Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This was a good segment. I miss you guys so much. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about, like any topics that or questions that you want, books that you're interested in me going into, drop it in the comments. Talk to me, because like I said, it's so much resources I want to give you guys. And the name of that website I said before is sacredtext.com. Ancient books, ancient information on metaphysics, the occult, alchemy, all of that. So I love you guys so much. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and yeah, share this with a friend. Until next time, Conjure Queen signing out. Peace.